From Foundation Field in Hamilton, Ohio, it is game number 5 as your Xenia Scouts take on their eternal rivals, the Hamilton Joes. Andrew Alix here alongside Gabe Genovesi. You'll hear from Gabe in just a moment. Well, the Scouts went to Richmond a couple of nights ago and unfortunately did not pick up a W in the great state of Indiana. They lost that game by a score of 7-3. So as they stand at 1-3 on the year, they are going to turn to their 2016 All-Star and rotation ace Jorge Lozano to try to pick up a big win against the team, the Hamilton Joes, that eliminated them from the 2016 Great Lakes League playoffs. So let's get you the lineup real quick. For the Xenia Scouts, batting first and playing shortstop is going to be Ben Beachy. Batting second and playing second, Ange Bourgeois. Batting third and playing right field, Caden Owens. In the cleanup spot, the catcher, Chris Ackerman. Batting fifth and playing first, Kyle Casserly. Batting sixth and playing third, Joey Roddy. Batting seventh, the designated hitter tonight, Mr. Ryan Park. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Dylan Lottenville. And batting ninth, Mr. Francisco Andina. He will be playing center field tonight. Well, the pitcher that they'll be facing off against tonight for the Hamilton Joes, that's a man named Darian Smith. Smith, this past season, posted a 5.79 ERA, an 0-1 record with 7 appearances, 5 of them being starts. He pitched 23 and 1/3 innings, allowing 18 runs, 15 of them earned. He struck out 26. He walked 25. For the Hamilton Joes now, the lineup's going to be batting first and playing center field is Riley Dent. Batting second and playing left field, it's going to be Trey Turner. Batting third and playing first base, C.J. Bush. Batting seventh, or batting fourth, and playing the designated hitter, Frank Dixon. Batting fifth and playing right field is Ryan McClellan. Batting sixth and catching is Mason Deanna. Batting seventh and playing second base is going to be Jake Murray. Luke Torino is batting eighth and playing third base. And in the ninth hole for Hamilton, the shortstop, Ryan Zeals. Now, Gabe, what are you looking for from the Scouts tonight as they try to bounce back in that loss against Richmond?
I'm looking for the Scouts to, sounds cheesy, but have some fun tonight. I was talking to the guys beforehand, and they're excited. They're loose tonight. They're ready to go get a win. They realize they've been pressing too much. You get off to a 1-3 start, and when you go into that, you get your second loss, your third loss, especially at Richmond last game. They realized that they were tight. They weren't playing, like they're used to playing. I look for the Scouts to come out and really swing the bats tonight, to be aggressive at the plate, and especially with Hamilton being 1-3 as well, they realize how important this game is, despite it only being the 5th game of the season. These teams tied for last in the Southern Division right now. I look for them to come out, be aggressive, and definitely sharpen it up in the field. 4 errors against Richmond last game. I don't expect that tonight. Ben Beachy back in the lineup tonight at shortstop. He has the most hits on the Scouts team through 4 games. He was not in the lineup at Richmond. He will, I believe, lead it off tonight, and we'll see what we can do here at Hamilton.
Absolutely, you are correct. A big thing for the Xenia Scouts team is going to be the fact that they got a day off. The Scouts a little bit depleted from a pitching perspective, and the Scouts who were going to have to maybe try to start a reliever last night now get to go back to the top of their rotation. Jorge Lozano pitching in his original day, and also giving everyone in the bullpen a chance to get a day off, get a day of rest, so they're fully stocked on the bullpen side. And the Scouts about ready to go. Warm-ups here at Foundation Field in Hamilton. But to talk about the history of these two clubs, last year the Scouts and the Hamilton Joes in a pennant race all season for the Great Lakes South Division. It ended up coming down to a tie. The tie decided on the last day, however, and the Scouts, who had a better head-to-head record against the Hamilton Joes, that was enough to give them the South Division championship and the 1 seed on that side of the bracket. But the Hamilton Joes, that did not stop them from winning in 3 games in the 3rd game in Xenia in extra innings in the Great Lakes League semifinals against the Scouts, and ending the Scouts' 2016 run short of a championship. The Hamilton Joes going on to win the Great Lakes League championship in 5 games against the Great Lakes League powerhouse, the Lima Locos. So the Scouts especially the ones they can remember. And there's a lot of people that can remember. We have Jorge Lozano, the man on the mound. The last time he pitched at this Hamilton Joe's Ballpark Foundation Field here in Hamilton, Jorge, he allowed a leadoff home run to Ben Spitznagel, the second baseman last year for the Hamilton Joes, who ended up just getting drafted yesterday in the 22nd round, I believe, by the Miami Marlins. Or check that. I believe it was the Cleveland Indians who drafted Spitznagel. But it was the leadoff home run to Spitznagel. But following that, Jorge settled right in, and the Scouts ended up cruising to a Game 2 victory there. That was before they were eventually bounced in Game 3. But looks like we're about ready to get things underway here in Hamilton, Ohio. Andrew Alix and Gabe Genovesi as Ben Beachy steps up to the plate to lead things off for the Scouts. Beachy, he bats from the right side against the right-handed throwing Darian Smith. Beachy steps in. And the first pitch of this ball game on the outside part of the plate, a called strike one. Beachy on the year, like Gabe previously mentioned, the most hits on this team. That's with 5. He's 5 for 14, good for a .357 average, couple of RBIs, a walk, and he was hit by a pitch. And Beachy grounds that one chopper over towards short. Shortstop comes in, unable to make the play is the shortstop Ryan Zeals. Charging in with Zeals, but that ball just popping off the corner of his glove, and Beachy is safe at first. Should be marked as
the second baseman, number 9, Ange Bourgeois.
They're going to mark that as a hit on the scoreboard. So Beachy is aboard, and the Scouts with the leadoff man here as we turn to Ange Bourgeois. Bourgeois, a .333 hitter on the year. It's 4 for 12. A couple of RBIs. He has struck out 6 times. So call that his Achilles heel, but first pitch to Ange, that one taken on the inside, ball 1.
And I'm surprised they gave Beachy a hit on that last one. The shortstop Zeals completely bobbled that ball, just a slow 3-hopper. But either way, Ben Beachy's on again.
Well, we'll have to see as that one taken low and in. So Ange ahead in this count 2-0. Sometimes the official scorebook
is different.
And the scoreboard not exactly the same, but 2 balls, no strikes to Ange Bourgeois. Lefty-righty matchup here. Here's the pitch, and that one way high. So 3 pitches, 3 balls to Ange Bourgeois. And I do not expect that Ange will have the green light here to swing a 3-0 pitch no matter where it is.
Bourgeois, a patient hitter as well. I don't think he'd be swinging even if he did have the green light.
3-0. And that one taken off the plate, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk has runners at first and second and nobody out for the Scouts here in the top of the first. And this is exactly what the Scouts have sorely needed. The Scouts have been playing catch-up all season long. And to put a couple of runs on the board here in the top of the first would be big. And with runners at first and second and nobody out, Caden Owens, the man tasked to keep this one going. Owens, the right fielder from Oral Roberts. He's a 200 hitter on the year. That's 3 for 15, an RBI, a stolen base, couple of strikeouts. First pitch in there for a called strike, taken all the way there by Owens. Nothing in 1 the count. Beachy leads from second. Bourgeois leads from first. Pitch, and Caden flares that one into left field, and that's going to be caught by a diving Ryan Zeals. Throw back to second is going to get Ben Beachy leading off the bag, and the shortstop Ryan Zeals diving, a highway robbery there, and call it an F6-4 double play, and just like that, a couple of outs here in this inning, and you know that was about as, for the Scouts, unlucky as you can get, but for Ryan Zeals, what an athletic catch there.
And if I had to describe the Scouts' season thus far in one play, that's the play I would describe it as. You get 2 guys on to start the inning, and Owens didn't hit it too well, but that came off the bat, and I thought that was going to be one of those that just dropped right in shallow left field off the inside of the bat, just perfect placement. Owens was going to get lucky. Instead, Zeals robs him of a hit, and they doubled him up.
So mark it down as an F6-4. And 2 pitches now, 2 balls. So Chris Ackerman, the batter, ahead in this count, 2-0. Runner on first and 2 outs here in the top of the first. A scoreless ball game between the Xenia Scouts and the Hamilton Joes. So I'll check that. They changed the scoreboard, so County evens up 1-1. Ackerman checks his swing there, taking all the way on the outside. Now moves ahead in this count 2-1. Chris, 2 for 9 on the season. Make that a 222 batting average for those of you who like the math. 4 walks. Gives him a 462 on base percentage for the Cage. 2 ball strike now. The pitch. And Chris waving and missing. Change up on the inside. Count evens up 2-2 here. With 2 away in the top of the first. The runner at first is Ange Bourgeois.
That's the one thing I'll say about these Scouts hitters through 4 games. We haven't hit the ball as good as we've wanted to, but we've been very patient at the plate. 28 walks as a team through 4 games.
Runner goes on 2-2. That one taken on the inside, and ball's going to pop out of the glove of the catcher, Mason Deanna. So over to second base is Ange Bourgeois, and the Scouts once again with a runner in scoring position. And that might be marked as defensive indifference. I don't think you can give him credit for the stolen base there. 3 balls, 2 strikes here with 2 away. Ackerman awaits. The pitch. And that one high ball 4. So the second walk of the day issued by Darian Smith, and the Scouts once again with runners at first and second. Now with 2 outs, and Kyle Casserly to the plate with an opportunity to make a big impact here.
And Cass got his first hit in Richmond a couple nights ago. Let's see if he can keep it up. He also walked in that game, so he reached twice. We'd love a hit here.
Casserly bats from the right side. Or should I say the left side against the left-handed or the right-handed pitcher. First pitch, inside part of the plate, called strike. Casserly, like you said, picking up his first hit. That makes him 1 for 12 on the season. Picked himself up an RBI on that hit. He's also drawn 2 walks. Bourgeois dancing at second. 0-1 pitch. That one up and away, and even up the count, a ball and a strike. Casserly, your first baseman from Wright State University. That comes by way of West Virginia, where he played his first 2 collegiate seasons, had to take the transfer redshirt this past year after the rare in baseball direct transfer from D1 program to D1 program. And Casserly taking a 1-1 pitch in there for a called strike. He falls behind in this count. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the top of the first. It's Ange Bourgeois at second, Chris Ackerman at first. Smith looks to the catcher, Mason Deanna. Looks back to second and delivers. And that one taken on the outside. Mason Deanna putting down the legs for the block there as that one seemed to nearly get away from him. And Casserly taking all the way, evens up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Cass has got to protect here. Those first 2 strikes were on the inside corner.
The 2-2 pitch. And that one up and in, and the count goes full. 2 walks already issued in this ball game by Darian Smith. Here's the 3-2. And Cass lifts that one into deep left center field. The center fielder, Riley Dent, is chasing back, but makes the catch on the run right in front of the warning track for out number 3. Mark it down as an F8 in your books, and that is going to do it for the Scouts here in the top of the first. No runs on 1 hit and 2 men left aboard. We have reached the middle of the first. Still scoreless between the Hamilton Joes and the Xenia Scouts. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. To the top of, or to the bottom of the first we go. The Scouts held scoreless in the top of the first, and Jorge Lozano to the mound. He faces Riley Dent first. First pitch, that one taken low and inside. Ball number 1, Lozano, last year's ace for the Xenia Scouts. The Wright State Raider by way of the Dominican Republic. First ball roped into right field. That's going to drop a base hit. So Jorge Lozano quickly giving up the leadoff single to Riley Dent, the center fielder from Valparaiso. And it's 1 on and nobody out. And Trey Turner to the plate. Turner, well, he don't got much on him.
Trey Turner.
Turner, the Sun Devil of Arizona State, played in his first contest last night against the Grand Lake Mariners, where he went 0 for 3. He bats from the right side against the right-handed pitcher, Jorge Lozano. The man on first, Riley Dent, takes a lead. And that one taken low, ball number 1.
I like the spot from Jorge early. I thought that was right at the knees. He did the same thing to the leadoff batter, Dent, as well, before Dent ripped a single past second baseman Bourgeois.
So 1-0 the count. Lozano delivers. And that one grounded past the third baseman, Joey Roddy, and that's going to roll into left field. So a couple of straight base hits have runners on first and second for the Hamilton Joes. And just like that, they are
number 21,
in
CJ
business early here. As CJ Bush to the plate. Bush, well, he has been one of the most successful of this Hamilton Joes club so far. 6 for 13 on the year. That's a .462 average. Couple of RBIs to show for it. Bush, the first baseman from Murray State University. That's the Racers. First pitch off the plate. Ball number 1. It's Riley Dent at second. And Trey Turner at first. You're still nobody out in the bottom of the first. Jorge Lozano looking for, hopefully, maybe a double play ball, just like his counterpart Darian Smith got in the exact same situation back in the top of the first. 1-0 now to Bush. Runners go. Swing and a miss, and no throw there from Chris Ackerman. So Trey Turner and Riley Dent move forward 90 feet respectively, and now it's runners at second and third, both of which now in scoring position, and nobody out. Double play ball is off, so they may have heard what we were saying up here, Gabe, and did something about it.
And they picked the right pitch to run on as well. Excuse me. An off-speed pitch, low and away. Ackerman didn't have a chance.
Time called now. A ball and a strike to count. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. 1-1. And that ball gets past the glove of Ackerman. Ackerman goes back, throw back to Lozano is not going to get there in time. Advancing on the pass ball is Riley Dent. Just like that, the Hamilton Joes have their first run of the ball game. They lead by a score of 1-0 game.
And Lozano might have just overthrew that pitch a little, trying to overpower the power hitter in CJ Bush. Bush, as you mentioned, the hottest hitter on this team. And now it's 1-0 Joes early.
So 2 balls and a strike now. Trey Turner over at third. Still nobody out here. The pitch from Lozano. That one bouncing about 4 or 5 feet in front of the plate. And Jorge has struggled to settle in here in the bottom of the first inning. A little bit concerning as Chris Ackerman's going to go out to the mound and have a word with his pitcher. Maybe try to settle him in. Jorge very much out of character right now.
3 straight pitches that bounced in front of the plate for Jorge Lozano. As you mentioned, very, very uncharacteristic of Lozano. Let's see if he can settle in now.
So 3 balls and a strike now, the count to CJ Bush. The pitch. And that one taken low, ball number 4. So Jorge Lozano issues his first walk of the day. And his runners at the corners and still nobody out for another Arizona State Sun Devil, Frank Dixon. He comes to the plate. Dixon listed on the Hamilton Joes official roster as a pitcher, as it looks like all the infielders for the Xenia Scouts and pitching coach Corey Koob's out to have a word with Jorge Lozano. Well, how did we get to the point where we're at? Well, Lozano allows a single to Riley Dent and another single to Trey Turner. That was followed by a double steal that advanced both runners 90 feet, and then a pass ball that allowed Riley Dent to score from third, Trey Turner to advance to third, and then a walk to C.J. Bush. So it's runners at the corners and nobody out for Frank Dixon. Dixon, the Arizona State Sun Devil. He bats from the left side against the righty Lozano. First pitch now. That one low and in at the feet. One and 0 the count. Lozano looks to Ackerman. Here's the 1-0. And that one taken just off the plate. The count goes 2-0. It's Frank Dixon at the plate. Ryan McClellan waits on deck. Mason Deanna in the hole. Here's 2-0. That one finds his own. A called strike one. Moves the count to 2 balls and a strike here. And Lozano, who worked mostly in relief this past season at Wright State, had one particularly bad outing, 5 earned runs against Kentucky. But for the most part, settled in after that point and had a pretty successful conclusion to the season, finishing with an ERA just above 3 on the year. 8 appearances. I believe it was 12 or 13 innings pitched. Pickoff attempt over to first. Not in time. 3 balls, 1 strike the count. Jorge looks to Ackerman. Pickoff attempt again, not in time.
Come on, quit stalling.
3-1. That one outside part of the plate, a called strike. Good pitch by Lozano. The count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with nobody out.
And it looks like mainly fastballs, maybe some cut fastballs from Jorge Lozano early, just trying to settle into a groove with the 3-2 pitch here. I expect the same thing. I don't expect anything off speed.
Here's the 3-2. And that one fouled right back at the plate. We're going to do 3-2 all over again. Be interesting to see what Lozano's pitch count is here early. And the 2 hits that he's allowed, not very hard hit, just ground balls that found the hole there. And unfortunately, after that, maybe a sense of frustration, struggling to find control was Jorge Lozano, and that's how he finds himself in the predicament that he is in. But here's 3-2 again, and that one fouled hard, left field side, way out of play. So good job here by the designated hitter Frank Dixon to stay alive in this count. I think if you're Jorge Lozano, you would take the double play ball and allow the run to score just to kind of get a firm grasp, the control of this inning, if nothing else. 3-2 for the 3rd time. Here it is. And that ball fouled hard, first base line.
That ball hit Dixon's ankle.
Dixon taking a little walk around in a circle, trying to catch his breath there. That's gotta hurt. So runners at first and third. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. The Joes lead 1-0. The count full to Frank Dixon from Jorge Lozano. 3-2 again, and that one is lined past the glove of a diving Joey Rowdy. That's going to land in left field for a base hit. Coming home to score from third, it's going to be Trey Turner, an RBI single off the bat of the Arizona State Sun Devil. Frank Dixon drives in his Arizona State teammate Trey Turner and extends the Hamilton lead to 2-0. And this was not the start here that Jorge Lozano was looking for, Gabe.
And I feel like we're saying that every single game for these Xenia Scouts. They're falling behind early. And then we see the Scouts put up, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 7th, and the final score ends up being close. It ends up being like 7-5, 8-5. We saw a 10-8 ball game. But it's too little too late. So this is exactly what you were not looking for once again.
And trying to lay down the bunt there is the batter. This is Ryan McClelland. Runners at first and second now. Still nobody out here. In the bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Hamilton Joes is your score. McClellan, the batter, he's the right fielder from Miami University of Ohio. A 125 hitter on the year. That is 1 for 8. 0-1 the count now. The 0-1 pitch. Taken on the outside, evens up the count of ball and a strike.
And McClellan looks determined to lay down a bunt here. The Joes trying to sacrifice the out, get 2 runners in scoring position once again for Mason Deanna, who's on deck, and he's 5 for 12 on the year. He's their second best hitter.
1-1 now. Here's the pitch. And that one finds his own, a called strike. So Jorge ahead in this count. Probably the first count that he's gotten 2 strikes on, if I'm not mistaken. So a ball and 2 strikes. C.J. Bush over at second. Frank Dixon at first. Lozano looks to the catcher, Chris Ackerman. He sets and delivers. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Hip, hip, Jorge, his first strikeout of the day. And Jorge sits down Ryan McClellan in a much-needed first out. And like we mentioned, hopefully Jorge, if he can get out of this inning without any further damage. We've seen this before from him. Last time he pitched this ballpark, the first pitch of the game was an absolute bomb into left field off the bat of the now professional baseball player, Ben Bitznagel. But after that, after the tarnished first inning, Jorge was able to settle in and go pretty deep into that ball game for the Scouts in a very clutch situation. But now the batter, Mason Deanna, first pitch to Mason. That one on the outside part of the plate, a called strike 1. Deanna from the University of Cincinnati, the Big East program, or should I say American Athletic Conference program, forgetting about D1 conference restructuring here. Deanna is hitting .417 so far, a couple of triples, 1 RBI. And that one coming way on the inside, and that's going to plunk Deanna on the shoulder. He's going to head to first, and the bases are now loaded for Jake Murray.
The second baseman, number 5, Jake Murray.
Scouts can go to any base in the infield, of course. The middle infield still in double play depth. Kyle Casserly not in on the corner yet.
The base is loaded with 1 out here. The batter, Jake Murray. Murray from the University of Cincinnati at Claremont, so not the Bearcats of Division I. He takes first pitch up and away. Ball number 1. Murray is 2 for 12 on the year. That makes him hitting at a 167 mark. He has scored 4 runs and walked 3 times, so he has scored 4 times. Having reached base 5, a flare into shallow left field off the bat of Murray. That's going to drop a base hit. And coming home to score is C.J. Bush. RBI single off the bat of Jake Murray. And once again, not hit very hard. Pretty much the same thing that we saw off the bat of Caden Owens in the top half of the first. But unfortunately, that one drops, brings home Jake Murray, and the Scouts deficit extended here, now 3-0.
And you said it. You hit the point on the money there. None of these balls have been smoked from the Hamilton Joes. A weak ground ball that just happened to get through the first and second baseman, Cashley and Bourgeois. That flare out the left field. Another ground ball single. Lozano's just getting, I'm not going to say unlucky here in the first inning, but the Scouts hit 2 balls hard right to outfielders. And the Joes have just found the right spots here in the first.
Well, obviously plenty of baseball to play today, so hopefully the ball will roll our way a couple more times. First pitch to Luke Torino was fouled down the first base line. Here's the 0-1. Check swing. Did he go? A Appeal said he did not. So that evens up the count of ball and a strike. Torino, the third baseman, also from the University of Cincinnati. He's 1 for 9 on the year, has walked 5 times, has a couple of runs batted in as well. The bases still loaded, still with just 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Joes lead 3-0. 1-1 pitch on the outside. Sano behind in this count now, 2-1. Torino bats from the left side against the righty Jorge Lozano. 2-1 coming now. That one just missing off the plate, so 3 balls and a strike now. Very much a hitter's count for Luke Torino, who Lozano is going to have to give something to hit or risk walking in. Run number 4 of this game. Now remember, we're at the 8th spot in the order. 3-1. And that one taken low and away, ball 4. So Jorge Lozano walks Luke Torino, brings home Frank Dixon.
The shortstop, number 19, Ryan Seals.
His first inning struggles continue, no doubt here. Still nothing going in the Scouts bullpen. Corey Coobs not so quick to pull the plug on a guy who he knows what he can do. Now Ryan Seals to the plate. Seals from Miami University at Hamilton. First pitch. That one fastball outside part of the plate, a called strike 1. We have seen flares of what Jorge can do here. But unfortunately, seemingly just a lack of control from the righty from Wright State. 0-1. And that one is flared into shallow right field, and that one's going to drop for a base hit. Coming in to score is 1 run. And a single off the bat of Ryan Seals makes this a 5-0 Hamilton lead. Chris Ackerman going to come out and have a word with Lozano again. And I sound like a broken record using the word flare constantly, but that is what all these hits have been. They've either been hard or medium rolling ground balls just past the glove of either Joey Roddy or Kyle Casserly, or the other hits have all just been little bloopers flared to opposite field that have just happened to drop in. But 5-0 the lead now. Here in the bottom of the first inning, still 1 out. The base is still loaded. Back to the top of the order, and Riley Dent. Dent singled his first time up. Here's the pitch. Lozano finds the outside part of the plate, a called strike 1.
And this time he starts Dent with an off-speed pitch. There might have been a curveball that dropped in there on the outside corner. Change the pace up a little bit and see if you can get out of this inning with a ground ball.
0-1. Swung on and missed, strike 2. So Jorge ahead in this count against Riley Dent. Dent from Valparaiso came into this game hitting at a 167 mark, but led it off with a single. Ended up coming around to score the first run of this ball game. Bases still juiced for Hamilton. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that one taken just off the plate, moves the count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Jorge getting a little frustrated on the mound. He's consistently trying to paint that outside corner. The home plate umpire, unfortunately, we don't know his name tonight, is not giving him that pitch. He's wanted it several times. And now we'll go 1-2.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one up and away. Evens the count up 2-2. And be interesting to see what Lozano's pitch count is at this point in the ball game. We'll try to get that to you in just a moment. Two. And that one low and away, ball 3. So after getting ahead in this count 0-2, Lozano with 3 straight balls, a couple of which were very, very close. And this count goes full, and he runs the risk of walking home yet another runner. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And that one on the inside, ball 4. And that is going to bring home run number 6 here in the first inning. So Mason Deanna comes home.
The left fielder, number 9.
Check that. Jake Murray comes home to score. And Jorge Lozano unable to really get anything going here so far. 6-0 Joes is the score. And Trey Turner to the plate. Turner, he singled his first time up. First pitch in there for a called strike. Bases loaded, 1 out, 0-1 the count. Turner bats from the right side against the righty Lozano. And he knocks that one past the glove of a diving Joey Roddy over at third, and that one's going to go into left field for a base hit. Coming home to score, it's going to be Luke Torino, and that extends the lead to 7-0 for the Hamilton Joes here in the first inning. And
C.J. Bush.
Not much to say here. Just
they've hit him tonight.
Yeah,
there's nothing else you can really say. Lozano in the zone. They've got pieces on it. Nothing big. Single. I believe all 6 hits.
Not a single extra base hit so far. First pitch to C.J. Bush. In there for a called strike 1. Bush, he walked his first time up. Came around to score run number 3 of this ball game. Oh, 1. That one on the outside evens up the count 1-1. Six hits so far off Lozano. 3 walks, 1 man hit by a pitch. 1-1, and that one is hit on the ground, and it's going to go into right field, a base hit. Caden Owens unable to pick it up over there, so 2 runs come home, and a 9-run first inning for the Hamilton Joes, and this one has gotten very ugly very fast, my friend.
And that, I mean, just like we've been saying for the past 15 minutes, that ball hopped twice in the infield, and it just was right past Casserly. Bourgeois over toward the second base bag in double play depth, and just couldn't get to it.
And it looks like Bubba Cates is going to make the call to the bullpen. Jorge Lozano, just not his night tonight, so we're going to step off and take a break here. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You want to listen to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Zach Wallace into pitch, and what has not been, or has been kind of the opposite of the inning that the scouts were looking for. 9 runs already off Jorge Lozano. Just 1 out here. First pitch from Wallace. That one is low and in the dirt. Runners are at the corners. The batter is Frank Dixon. Dixon, he singled his first time up. That brought in the first run of the game. Here's the pitch. That one taken up and away. Ball number 2, so 2-0 already. Pitch from Wallace. And that one grounded right back at Wallace. He's going to make the throw over to first after looking the runner at third to make sure he didn't go home. And that is out number 2. Mark it down as a 1-3 in your books. And now with 2 away, the scouts can stop the bleeding here by getting the guy that committed the first of the 2 outs, Ryan McClellan. McClellan went down swinging his first time up. Ryan from Miami University of Ohio, now 1 for 9 on the season. That is a 111 batting average, if I can do math correctly in my head. He bats from the left side against the righty Zach Wallace. Runners at second and third now. Nobody out. First pitch low and in. The 1-0. That one bouncing right in front of the plate. Good job there by the catcher, Chris Ackerman, to get in front of it. So 2-0 in the count now.
And Wallace has to settle in now. It was a 2-0 count to the batter Bush last time, and I believe Bush might have chased ball 3 on that ground out.
And that one is hit sky high to center field. The center fielder, Francisco Andina, comes under it and makes the grab for out number 3. But 9 runs for the Hamilton Joes in the bottom of the first inning. The scouts still have a shot at this, though. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Brought to you by ThyssenKrupp Goldstein of America.
We go into the top of the second inning. The Scouts trailing this one by a score of 9-0. And a tough first inning for Xenia, but that means that we're just going to have to score at least 10 to win this one. It's going to be Joey Roddy, Ryan Park, and Dylan Lottenville to the plate. Joey Roddy, he picked up his first hit of the season in Tuesday's contest against Richmond. He swings at first pitch high in the air. Elevator shaft fly ball going to go right behind us here in the press box. And I shouldn't say the press box. That would be misleading. We are actually on the roof of the press box. So if you ever hear the wind or anything like that, that is because it's literally the wind blowing into the microphone. So,
And if we randomly stop, we are getting rained on.
nothing in one, the counter, Rowdy. Joey takes way on the outside. He was at the count of ball and a strike. And are the Scouts favored to win this one? No. But the way that they handle themselves for the remainder of this game will show a lot about the character of this team. That I can say at the least. Joey lifts that one into deep center field. Going back is the center fielder, Riley Dent. He's going to come under it and make the grab about 5 or 6 feet in front of the warning track. So mark it down as an F8. Out number 1 here in the top of the second. And now Ryan Park going to come to the plate.
And that's kind of what I've been talking about. Joey Roddy hit that ball hard. He might have missed that ball just under the baseball by a couple inches and leaves it in the air a little bit.
First pitch. That one comes way up and way into Park. Park, he bats from the left side. 4 for 8 on the year, couple RBIs, a 600 on base percentage. 1-0 pitch to Park. Clips the inside part of the plate. Called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out here in the top of the second. 1-1 pitch. And that is a couple flights upstairs, moves the count 2-1. Park from Point Loma Nazarene College in the great state of California. He awaits the 2-1. And that one, way on the inside again, almost gets a piece of Park. So he's ahead in this count 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And that one is high, ball 4. So the Scouts, for the second inning in a row, have a man on base. And now Dylan Lottenville to the plate to try to see if the Scouts can begin to chip away at this 9-0 Hamilton Joe lead.
And if I'm the Scouts right now, that is 3 walks for Darian Smith in the first not even 2 innings. There weren't out into the second inning. I'm being very patient at the plate. You need every runner, every run you can get.
First pitch to Dylan Lottenville, upstairs, ball 1. Dylan, he's 2 for 11 on the season. That's 182. He has drawn 3 walks. His Achilles heel has been the strikeout. He has done that 5 times. 1-0 pitch, and Dylan lifts that one into deep left center field. The left fielder, Trey Turner, is chasing, and he's going to be called off by the center fielder, Riley Dent, who makes the grab. He had to track about half a mile there, but gets there in time. Out number 2, mark it down as an F8 in your books. And once again, for the 3rd time, just a hard hit ball off the bat of one of the Scouts players, but just not enough, as the very speedy Riley Dent out there in center field has now recorded 3 outs, and he has worked for every single one of them. First pitch to Francisco Andina now in there for a called strike. Andina still hitless on the year, has drawn 5 walks. He has stolen 3 bases, picked up an RBI, and scored a game-winning run already this year. 0-1 the count to him now. Ryan Park over at first. 0-1 pitch comes way inside, evens up the counter ball on a strike. Andina from Spring Arbor College. 1-1. Low and away, ball 2. Andina, in pretty much every game he plays, is going to be the shortest guy on the field, and for Darian Smith, a guy who has struggled to find the strike zone so far, was a small strike zone you're looking for here with the Scout center fielder Andina. 2-1. Here's the pitch. And that one low in the dirt. Ryan Park is going to try to snag a base. He slides, and that ball rolls into center field. Ryan Park stands up. He's headed for third. The throw, there is going to be no throw over to third. So Ryan Park steals the base and then advances another 90 feet on the overthrow. So now a 3-1 count to Francisco Andina and a runner at third. And the Scouts could put themselves on the board here with a single. But like you said, Gabe, struggling to find the strike zone here is this pitcher, Darian Smith. So if I'm Francisco Andina, I'm going to be very, very careful as it's back to the top of the order now with Ben Beachy if Andina can get on. 3-1, and that one is in the dirt, ball 4. So another walk issued, and the Scouts have runners at the corners here with 2 outs and an opportunity to come back with something, anything here, following the big 9-run inning from Hamilton in the bottom of the first. It's 2 outs here in the top of the second. The Scouts trail 9-0. Ben Beachy to the plate. He picked up the Scouts' only hit of this game so far. First pitch taken up and away. We talked about Francisco Andina. He has a lot of speed on the base path. 3 stolen bases so far. Big lead over at first for him. 1-0 pitch. And that one upstairs again. And Ben Beachy ahead in this count, 2-0, Gabe.
And there goes the catcher, Deanna, out to talk to Smith. He knows he's missing the zone a lot right now. A 2-0 count. If I'm Beachy, this is tough because normally I would say 2-0. If you get your pitch, drive the ball. But with 2 down and already down 9-0 in this ball game, you need every base runner you can get. And with Ange Bourgeois on deck, who has driven in a couple runs already this year, that might be a good situation for the Scouts.
2-0 pitch finds the zone, moves the count 2-1. And Darian Smith has walked 4 already in this game. He walked just 25 all year at school. 2-1 pitch taken way off the plate, moves the count 3-1. Beachy, he singled his first time up. The team leader in hits with 6. And Beachy grounds that one hard over towards third base. The throw is going to be a long one over towards first in the dirt, and that one is not going to get there in time. An RBI infield single from Ben Beachy has the Scouts on the board. They now trail this one by a score of 9-1, and Beachy just grounding that one hard down the third base line. And good job by Luke Torino, the third baseman for Hamilton, to get in front of it and get there, but just a very long throw to make over to first at any level.
And let's not forget about Ryan Parks heads up base running. With 2 down, he stole second. The ball gets away from the shortstop. He moves to third. Without that, Torino on third base tags the base, and we're out of this inning. So Ryan Parks sets up his own run there.
So Ben Beachy continues to pick up hits, and now it's runners at first and second with 2 away, and 1-0 the count. Now 2-0 to Ange Bourgeois as he watches upstairs. Ange, his first time up, he drew a walk, ended up stranded over at second base in the top of the first inning. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 away to Ange Bourgeois. Here's the pitch, and that one just clipping the outside part of the plate. Fastball in there for a called strike, moves the count 2-1. Bourgeois, a .333 hitter on the year, couple of RBIs. Andina dancing over at second. Here's the pitch, and that one, breaking ball, tipped straight back by Ange Bourgeois, is going to even the count up 2-2, and that not one that Ange really wanted to swing at there, Gabe, do you think?
That ball a little high and inside. As a lefty, Bourgeois might have wanted to take that down the right field line. If that ball gets in the corner, it might score 2 with Beachy on first.
A lot of speed on the base pass indeed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With 2 away, Ange Bourgeois waits, dancing over at second, and Ange swinging there, tips that one. That's not going to hit a car, but here at Foundation Field in Hamilton, many cars are very much in foul territory. Count's going to stay 2-2. Caden Owens awaits on deck if we can get to him. 9-1 Hamilton is your score. 2-2. And that one comes way inside, almost got a piece of Bourgeois. And the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
And that wasn't one of those, hey, take that, Bourgeois. No, that would have hit him right on the front kneecap. That one would have hurt.
Oh, indeed. He is lucky to get his knee out of the way there. 3-2. Here's the pitch. And that one fouled down the first base line, right into the Scout dugout, actually. Dylan Lottenville coming to try to make an athletic play out of the dugout. Actually did not make the play. But Bourgeois staying alive in this count. And from what we've seen in the first 2 innings, this starting pitcher, Darian Smith, has struggled to find control. Certainly we have worked that pitch count here. 3-2 now. And that one is hit high in the air towards center. Coming in is going to be the center fielder, Riley Dent. He makes the grab, out number 3. So 1 run on 1 hit and 2 men left aboard for the Scouts in the top of the second. We have reached the middle of the second. The Scouts trailing this one by a score of 9-1. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. We go into the bottom of the second inning. The Hamilton Joes coming back out after definitely putting on a show in the top of the first. They batted through the order and then another 5 after that, but it's Zach Wallace to the mound. He came in with the bases all juiced and 1 out, but he got the first 2 outs and the first 2 guys he faced, and now he's back out again. First pitch from Wallace. That one is hit high in the air and deep, but foul on the right field side. That one's going to drop. 0-1 goes the count. Mason Deanna hits first time up. He was hit by a pitch, ended up coming around to score. Deanna, the catcher from the University of Cincinnati. 417 batting average on the year, a couple of triples, and 1 RBI. Here's the 0-1. That one's hit right back at Zach Wallace. Wallace takes a couple steps, underhands it over to Kyle Casserly at first for out number 1. Mark it down as a 1-3 in your book. And
number 5, Jake Murray.
First out of the bottom of the second comes much easier than the first out of the bottom of the first game.
And a nice job by Wallace to field his position there. That's the second time in 3 batters he's done that. First time he had to run over toward the first base line a little. This one right back to him.
So now Jake Murray to the plate. Murray. He singled his last time up. First pitch. Wallace delivers high, ball 1. Murray, the second baseman from Cincinnati Claremont. 3 for 13 on the year. Has drawn 3 walks, scored 5 runs. 1-0 pitch. And he lays a bunt down the third base line. That one's going to go foul. And that took, of the 90 feet between third base and home, that got about maybe 40 before tailing off into foul territory. So call it a long, or at least took a long time. Strike 1, evens in the count. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Xenia trails the Hamilton Joes by a score of 9-1.
And Joey Roddy at third, still behind the base, not looking for Murray to try to lay down a bunt again.
Here's the 1-1 pitch from Zach Wallace. And that one finds the inside part of the plate, a called strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 away now. And Wallace trying to make quick work of the Hamilton Joes here. If the Scouts have any chance in this game, he's going to have to really put on a show here tonight. And time is called by the batter, Murray. Murray bats from the left side against the right-handed pitcher, Zach Wallace. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one grounded over the head of Wallace. Coming in, the second baseman, Am Bourgeois, takes it. Throw over to first in time. An athletic play by the second baseman, Ange Bourgeois, who took that on a Hollywood hop, throws it over to first just in time to get Jake Murray. It was one of the better displays we have seen in the field from the Scouts so far this season, let alone this game. And that's 4 in a row retired by Zach Wallace, as the 8-hitter Luke Torino is going to come to the plate. Walked his first time up, first pitch, fastball outside part of the plate, called strike 1.
That was a heck of a play by Ange Bourgeois. Knew he needed to get the ball out of his glove quick, and he did exactly that. Murray had speed down the line, and the fans here knew it as well. They're like, he's got it, beat it out. And Bourgeois beat him.
And that one is hit high in the air to left field. The left fielder, Dylan Lottenville, is going to track over and make the grab for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for the righty, Zach Wallace. And the Scouts have, made much easier work of the Hamilton Joes in the bottom of the second than they did in the bottom of the first. 9-1 Joes is your score. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
We thank you for your protection of our community.
So we go to the top of the third inning. Andrew Alix and Gabe Genovesi here at Foundation Field in Hamilton. The Scouts trailing this one at 9-1, but ready to get back to work at the 3, 4, 5 spot in the order with Caden Owens, Chris Ackerman, and Kyle Casserly. That's a lot of C's and K's there. Due up in this inning. First pitch to Caden Owens, way up and away, ball 1. So the Scouts have mustered up 1 run. They have stranded 4 men on base. Couple of hits, and they have drawn 4 walks as Caden Owens takes a low and in. 2-0 goes the count. And Gabe mentioned it in the last inning. This pitcher, Darian Smith, has really struggled to find the strike zone. The Scouts have to be very patient at the plate. 2-0, and that one is hit high in the air into shallow right field. Coming in, the right fielder, Ryan McClellan. He's going to make the grab for out number 1.
The catcher, number 7.
And Owens just got under that one a little bit. He got the pitch he wanted right down the heart of the plate and hit underneath the baseball and skied that one toward right field.
So now it's Chris Ackerman to the plate. Ackerman, his first time up, he walked. His 5th walk that he has drawn so far this season. First pitch to Chris. That one taken way on the outside, ball number 1.
And that's why if I'm the Scouts, I'd be just a little hesitant to swing at a 2-0 pitch. I know normally you take that pitch if you get it right down the middle. You take a hack at it. But Smith is really struggling to throw strikes. Even if he gets it over the plate on 2-0, I don't know if you can count on him throwing a 2-1 strike.
And as that point that you make there, Gabe, is Chris Ackerman now ahead with this count 2-0, as that one was way high. Smith almost lost his footing coming off the plate, and Chris Ackerman taking it all the way there. So now 3-0 is the count. Scouts need base runners because you need base runners to score runs. They're trailing 9-1 in this game, but plenty of baseball left to play. And you got to be very patient. 3-0 the count to Chris Ackerman. The get me across pitch does just that. Right down the pipe. The count moves 3-1.
And I can see it from the other side too. You know, you can't just walk your way home to runs. You gotta hit the ball eventually. But I'm saying, in order to get the inning started, as Ackerman does exactly that and walks, you're gonna need base runners, and especially, well, this now being the second time through the lineup. But that first time through the lineup, now the second time, I'd eye this guy up a little bit, and then once you get comfortable, you get in a chance to where you can drive in some runs when we have base runners on. Then you take your hack on the get me over 2-0 pitch.
First pitch to Kyle Casserly off the plate, ball 1. Casserly, his first time up, he hit a really hard, really long ball into deep center field, but Riley Dent, who has made 4 of the 6 outs that this pitcher Darian Smith has gotten so far today, is Casserly now ahead in this count 2-0. Just simply wasn't enough. Smith has thrown 59 pitches, 34 of them balls. 2-0 now to Cass. That one just finds the inside part of the plate for a called strike, but close yet again. 2-1 goes the count.
Smith, 35 balls, 24 strikes on the night.
And Casserly's going to lift that one into center field. Coming up a couple steps is Riley Dent. He'll make the grab out number 2. So,
The third baseman,
like I just said,
Joey Roddy.
there have been, I guess now, 8 outs. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 of them have been deep flyouts to center.
And I don't know if I've ever seen a team get so unlucky, hitting so many balls really hard straight to anybody in the outfield through these first 4 and now 4 2/3 game, or 4 1/3 games for the Scouts.
So first pitch to Joey Roddy, that one finds the zone, a called strike on the outside part of the plate. Roddy, his first time up, made the first out of the second inning. That was a fly out to deep center. And pitch that one up and away. It's going to, as a throw over to first, Chris Ackerman on the ground. Looks like he is limping a little bit as there was a throw over to first. And did you catch that, Gabe? I was kind of looking at the book.
Yeah, he didn't know whether to dive back or step back, so he was kind of in between and took a huge step back toward first base. And it was one of those things where your foot just barely hits the bag and his knee kind of buckled. I got really worried there for a second that Ackerman might have done some damage to his knee. It looks like it's one of those things where it's just maybe a little bruised, not bruised, but a little sprained.
Let's not jump to sprained. We don't really know.
I don't know the word I'm looking for.
And just a little banged up.
Shaken up.
Banged up, yeah.
He's going to stay on the base pass. He's fine, but scary situation there for a little bit.
Exactly, and you never know from this high up, but there are some things that just don't look right. Ackerman's still taking a big lead. 1 ball, 1 strike to count, 2 away. And that pitch way on the inside, and Ackerman's going to advance 90 feet. Past ball there. So the Scouts with a runner in scoring position, a big spot for Joey Roddy here. Ahead in this count 2-1. Could, if he gets a pitch worth hitting, drive in run number 2 of this game for the Scouts. Roddy, the third baseman from The Ohio State University. 2-1 pitch. And Joey hits that one on the ground past the glove of the third baseman. Coming around third and getting the big red light from Bubba Cates is Chris Ackerman. Joey Roddy advancing over to second as the third baseman bobbles the ball. So that's kind of hard to explain, but a hard ground ball on the third base side, gets past the glove of the third baseman. Trey Turner fields it in left field. Ackerman gets the red light from Bubba Cates, but kind of while looking him over, on the relay throw. Luke Torino just dropped the ball, and Joey Roddy got the chance to advance over to second. So now Ryan Park with runners at first and second. First pitch to Ryan Park, upstairs, ball one.
We've seen Park come through in this situation just a couple games ago, an RBI single against the Copperheads a couple games back. That little blooper out to center field would work perfectly here.
1-0. Taken on the outside, 2-0. Park, his first time up, walked and came around to score the only run of this ball game for the Xenia Scouts. Park hits from the left side against the right-handed pitcher, Darian Smith. 2-0. And that one low and in, ball three. So, Ryan Park, I can promise you here, not going to swing.
And a good block from Mason Deanna there on that ball in, well, the turf here at Foundation Field. A pass ball scores a run.
And that is ball four. So the base is loaded here for the Scouts. I'm looking over to the bullpen for the Hamilton Joes, and they got people going for sure. As the base is loaded and 2 outs now for Dylan Lawtonville. Coming out to the mound is the catcher, Mason Deanna. It'll be interesting to see if we get at least a pitching coach visit here from Hamilton.
And if I'm Lawtonville, who likes to take good, solid hacks at the ball, drive that into the outfield, I'm being very patient here, waiting for a strike.
So the first pitch to Lawtonville, waiting here. We're actually about to get rained on, so we might need to stop broadcasting. First pitch taken away on the outside, and as I get a feel for it, that is going to be the case. What do you think?
We don't have any cover.
I mean, let me see if we can set up this tent real quick. Yeah, we're gonna have to step off. Swing and a miss there from Lawtonville.
We will be tweeting, so anybody watching right now,
Yep.
Xenia Scouts on Twitter for updates.
This is a shame. I'm sorry, folks. I really am.
We will see if we can find some type of cover for all this equipment. There's really nothing we can do.
2 balls and a strike to Lawtonville with 2 outs. The bases loaded. I wish I could keep going here, but we can't destroy our equipment. It's too expensive. It's a shame that they put us up here on the roof. 2-1. Swung on and missed. Evens up the count 2-2.
This couldn't be happening in a worse time.
Oh my gosh, it's I mean, like,
I'm just trying to get through this batter.
We'll see if we can. If it really starts raining, then we're gonna really just have to step off. There's no doubt about that. 2-2 now, and Lawtonville watches way on the outside, and the count was 3 balls, 2 strikes. And like you said, this couldn't be happening at a worse time. But it's so light that you think maybe there's a chance that it just blows over if you're in our position. 3-2 now the count. The runners all going. Here's the pitch, and that one is up and in, ball 4, and the Scouts have brought home run number 2 of the day. And there's going to be a call to the bullpen here.
I'm going to step aside.
So we're going to step aside and see if we can get this tent working or get some cover or maybe anything. But don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. And first pitch to Francisco Andina, that is hit, and that is bobbled. And everyone's safe, so another runner comes home. Sorry, folks, the issue here for us is it is raining on our expensive electronic equipment.
22, Ben Beachy.
But everyone's safe. The base is loaded here with 2 outs. 9-3 is now the score.
Back here in the bottom of the fourth at Foundation Field here in Hamilton, Ohio. 9-4 is the Joes' lead over the Scouts as we head to the bottom half of the inning. Zach Wallace still pitching for the Xenia Scouts as the curveball drops in there for strike 2. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, folks. We've had some rain here as we are on top of the press box here at the Hamilton Joes Foundation Field. So we had to unplug some stuff and try to move some stuff, and the sound went off for a little bit, and now I am starting to get drizzled on once again. So if this broadcast goes out, I apologize. It means I had to stop and try to move our equipment once again, as it's just too risky up here with the rain. This equipment and my laptop is just too expensive, as Wallace gets his second strikeout of the day on Frank Dixon. And Ryan McClellan will step to the plate. McClellan steps to the plate. Zach Wallace has only allowed one base runner, and now 10 batters, as the first pitch to McClellan is a ball outside, 1-0. Ryan McClellan 0 for 2 on the day. He struck out and flew out to center both in the first inning. And that 9-run first inning for the Joes. Now the curveball catches the corner. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan McClellan. McClellan, the lefty, Wallace, a righty. The pitch, and it hits McClellan on the inside knee, his front knee, I should say. And that'll be the second base runner of the night for the Joes on Zach Wallace. And that'll bring up Mason Deanna for Hamilton. Deanna will be a junior at Cincinnati. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Also got hit by a pitch. Deanna coming into tonight was 5 for 12 on the air. Now make it 5 for 13. Wallace throws over to first. McClellan dives back safely. 9-4 the Hamilton lead over the Xenia Scouts. Mason Deanna at the plate. He was 15th in the league coming into tonight with his .417 batting average. He also has 2 triples on the year, and that leads the league. Mason Deanna, no doubles, but 2 triples on the young season, as Wallace throws over to first once again. McClellan back safely. Deanna comes from an athletic family. His dad, Greg, played football at Bowling Green College in the Mid-American Conference with the Falcons, as the first pitch to Deanna is a strike on the outside corner. Wallace ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. The Joes lead the Scouts 9-4 here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, as Wallace throws over to Casterly once again. Ryan McClellan on first base. 1 for 1 on the year in stolen bases. He does have a big lead, though, so that's why Wallace has thrown over there 3 times. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball toward the middle. Beachy fields it on his knee. He cannot flip to second base. The ball gets caught underneath his knees, so that'll be an error on Ben Beachy, and the runners are on first and second for the Hamilton Joes.
The second baseman, number 5, Jake Murray.
A good play by Ben Beachy to get down on his knees and field that ball, but then he dropped it, and it just got caught underneath him. And that'll bring up Jake Murray with 2 on and 1 out. Murray 1 for 2 on the day, an RBI single back in the first inning. He grounded out to the second baseman Bourgeois in the second. The first pitch. A curveball low and inside for ball one. Wallace takes a deep breath on the mound. Murray, the 5'10 lefty. The 1-0 pitch from Zach Wallace, and now he'll look back at second. Sorry about that one. And step off. Jake Murray, a native of Cincinnati, Ohio, goes to Cincinnati University of Claremont. He'll be a junior. The 1-0 pitch. Another curveball just below the knees from Zach Wallace. 2 balls and no strikes. Wallace got the first out of the inning on a strikeout of Frank Dixon. Then he hit McClellan, and an error by Ben Beachy at short. Put Deanna on first. The 2-0 pitch chopped foul down the first baseline. 2 balls and 1 strike. As this rain just continues to be annoying. It was drizzling about 30 seconds ago, and now it's not. The batter, Murray, steps out. Now he steps back in as Wallace takes the sign. The 2-1 pitch. A fastball low. It bounced on the plate. A good block by Chris Ackerman behind the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. As my partner, Andrew Alix, joins me back and is struggling with his headset a little.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been the best day. It hasn't been the best day for any
Line drive up the middle, base hit. Ondina picks it up in center. The throw to the plate will get cut off by Kyle Casserly. Ryan McClellan scores from second, and it's 10-4 Hamilton Joes. Deanna moves up to second base. Murray has his second RBI of the day, his 4th RBI of the year. And the Joes get their first run since the first inning, 10-4 Hamilton. And that is one of those things where if you're the Scouts, it's only 1 run. But in a game where you're already down big, that run feels big as pitching coach Corey Koobs will come out to the mound and talk to Zach Wallace. Catcher Chris Ackerman will join them at the mound as well. The infield will not come in to the mound. The Hamilton Joes 1-3, the Xenia Scouts 1-3. These two teams trying to break out of an early season slump. And right now it's the Joes on top 10-4 over the Scouts. The starting pitcher for Xenia, Jorge Lozano, had a rough first inning, a third of an inning pitched. He gave up 7 hits, 9 runs, all of them earned. 2 walks and a strikeout for Jorge Lozano. But as we've been talking about throughout this broadcast, none of those 7 hits were extra base hits. All ground ball singles, bloop singles, and Jorge Lozano, after every single one, just shook his head like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Good hitting by this Hamilton Joes lineup, just poking their bats out there, getting pieces on balls on the corners. It was a long first inning. The Scouts have battled back a little, a run in the second, 3 runs in the third to make it 9-4. The Joes get 1 more to make it 10-4. And now the first pitch to the batter, Torino, is skied towards center field. Francisco Ondina comes in to make the grab, and there's 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. And that's going to bring up Ryan Zeals for the Hamilton Joes. Zeals 1 for today, an RBI single back in the first inning. He flew out to center in the third. Zeals came into the day 2 for 6, now 3 for 8 on the year. 2 on with 2 out for the Hamilton Joes. 10-4 is the Hamilton lead over Xenia. as Zeals chops one towards third. That ball, a diving stop made by Roddy. The throw across the diamond pulls Casserly off the base. So Ryan Zeals has himself an infield single, but a great stop by Joey Roddy at third on the diving play. That would have been possibly a 2 RBI double. So Zeals is on, but no damage done on the scoreboard yet as Riley Dent, the leadoff batter for the Joes, comes to the plate. What I don't know if Joey Roddy could have stepped on third with runners on first and second. The runner, Deanna, was coming to third, and that would have been a very close play. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. The Joes lead the Scouts 10-4. As my partner, Andrew Alex, joins me back. And that ball is skied high toward left center field. The center fielder, Ondina, makes the grab. And that's the 3rd out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Joes get a run on 2 hits. And we'll head to the top of the 5th. The Scouts trailing 10-4 here at Foundation Field. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the top of the 5th at Foundation Field in Hamilton, Ohio, here in the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Gabe Genovesi with you tonight alongside my partner, Andrew Alex. Joey Roddy at the plate for the Xenia Scouts. He takes a ball inside as the Scouts trailed the Hamilton Joes 10-4 here in game number 5 of the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League season. Roddy takes ball 2 on the outside, 2-0. The Hamilton Joes 1-3 to start the year. The Scouts also 1-3 as Roddy chops one foul down the third base line. 2 balls and a strike to the redshirt freshman from Ohio State. Roddy steps out of the box, now steps back in. The 2-1 pitch. Roddy, a high chopper towards the shortstop, Ryan Zeals. Zeals fires across the diamond. His throw is high, and Joey Roddy is on first base.
And you could almost see the way that play was developing, that Zeals was going to have to rush that throw as it took a couple of really high hops on its way over to shortstop, and Joey Roddy does not let up. And as athletic of a guy as you have in Joey Roddy, they're going to have to rush that throw, and Roddy's safe at first. The Scouts are the leadoff man aboard and still trying to chip into this Hamilton Joe lead game.
So Joey Roddy is on for the 2nd time today. He singled back in the 3rd inning and came around to score. And now Ryan Park steps to the plate for the Scouts. He takes a ball low, 1 ball and no strikes. Park, 2 walks today and he scored 2 runs as well. He scored the first run of the game for the Scouts and run number 4 in the 3rd inning. Park bats from the left side. He is a switch hitter as he takes ball 2 outside. Ryan Park, dominantly right-handed. He batted right-handed all the way through his junior year in high school. He struggled his first 2 years of high school, his freshman and sophomore year. Now the 2-0 pitch. Park, a blooper into left field. That ball is going to land and get past the right fielder, Ryan McClellan. Joey Roddy comes around second, and he'll stand at third base. Ryan Park has himself a single and moves to second on the diving attempt by McClellan. And there's runners on second and third with nobody down here in the top of the 5th.
And we talked about time and time again how at the beginning of this game, the Scouts were hitting balls hard, but they just happened to be at somebody. Well, Ryan Park really connected there with that pitch, and thankfully, that one dropping in front of the glove of the right fielder, Ryan McClellan. His diving attempt is trying to be an acrobat out there in the field. Cost him as that ball got under the glove, rolled back to the wall, allowed Park to head to second, allowed Roddy to head to third, and now Dylan Lottenville at the plate, nobody out, and a couple runners in scoring position for the Scouts here, Gabe.
And that ball hit out to right field toward McClellan. That was the first ball he's gotten hit toward him all day as Lottenville drills one high and deep down the right field line, but foul. Oh, he took that one the other way to Dylan Lottenville, but just a long strike, and it's 0-1. Lottenville flew out to center field in the 2nd inning. That was the deep ball at the warning track. And he walked in the 3rd. The 0-1 pitch is inside. It goes off the glove of the catcher, Deanna, but not far enough into the backstop for Roddy to go. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Lottenville. 10-4, the Hamilton Joes lead over the Xenia Scouts. 9 runs in the 1st inning from the Joes. They added a run in the bottom of the 4th. Now Lottenville chops one high to the 3rd baseman, Torino. He fires across the diamond. Lottenville is safe at first as it pulled C.J. Bush off the bag, and Joey Roddy scores from 3rd. We've got ourselves a 10-5 ball game.
And once again, we talk about that high chopper that was hit by Joey Roddy to lead off the inning. Well, a very similar thing that we had over there towards third. The 3rd baseman, Luke Torino, fielded it. Thought about trying to make the play to get Joey Roddy at home, but Joey Roddy's so fast, pretty much, canceling it out there. He then had to rush the throw and pull the 1st baseman, C.J. Bush, offline. And let me tell you, it was nearly a tie, but Dylan Lottenville with that speed just getting there. 10-5, runners at 1st and 2nd, still nobody out here.
Francisco Andina, the 9-hole hitter tonight for the Scouts, steps up to the plate. He's reached both times. He walked in the 2nd inning. Reached on an error by the shortstop Zeals in the 3rd inning. Now the pitch. Low and outside to Francisco Andina.
Interesting that they marked on the scoreboard, at least. They have Lottenville as reaching on an error. I don't know if that was an error. I think that you could probably make a very solid argument that was an infield hit, Gabe. It's close.
The reason they would mark it as an error is just because C.J. Bush completely pulled his foot off the bag on a good throw, I guess.
Was it a good throw, though?
It one hop to him. I could see your point.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess not our choice to decide. Not here. At home, maybe it is. 1 and 2 though now.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Francisco Andina. Park on second, Lottenville on first for the Scouts. The pitch. Andina swings through a fastball low. And I believe they're going to call that a foul ball. I'm not.
It could be that, or it could be. Yeah, that was a foul ball. So it's 1 and 2 still, I believe. Indeed.
I apologize. I thought that ball bounced and Andina just swung through it. But they're going to call it a foul ball. Now the 1-2 again, and this time Andina fouls it off behind the plate to stay alive. Francisco Andina, his walk in the 2nd inning was his 6th walk of the year. He was tied for 11th in the Great Lakes League in walks coming into this one. He is still without a hit. He's reached base 8 times on 6 walks and 2 errors. But he is 0 for 9 from the plate.
Hey, man, what would Billy Bean do? What would Billy Bean say? He'd say it's a pretty effective player out there.
I agree. The 1-2 pitch. A slider misses off the outside edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Francisco Andina.
Nothing going right now in this Hamilton Joe bullpen, so they're sticking with their cat that they got out there right now.
Danny Hentz still on the mound. The Dayton Flyers struggling a little bit here in the 5th inning. The 2-2 pitch. Low and outside. A good block by the catcher, Deanna, to slide out there and keep it in front of him. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 10-5, the Joes lead over the Scouts. The Scouts got 1 in the top of the 2nd, 3 in the top of the 3rd, only on 1 hit in the top of the 3rd. All the rest on walks and errors from this Joes team. 6 errors tonight for the Hamilton Joes. The 3-2 pitch to Andina is way inside. It bounces to the backstop, and Ryan Park will hold at third base. A big turn right there from Ryan Park, but he'll hold up. Andina walks for the 7th time this season, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the top of the 5th.
And back to the top of the order now for the Scouts, and there's some fight in this dog right now, as the base is juiced, and it would have been easy. It would have been easy to have been demoralized in the top of the 1st, or the bottom of the 1st inning, I should say, with the 9 runs. But really and truly, I mean, a home run by Ben Beachy here. I don't know what the statistical odds of that. He had 1 in school this year. That would make it a 1-run ball game here. So Beachy, who has 2 hits so far today, reached base all 3 times, going to try to keep the Scouts rally going here in the top of the 5th. 10-5 the score.
The first pitch to the sophomore from Otterbein is low and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Ben Beachy at Otterbein College this past year was 3 for 9 with the bases loaded. He's 0 for 1 on this young season here in the Great Lakes League with the bases loaded. And now he chops one towards the shortstop, Zeals. Zeals touches on second, throws over to first. They double up Ben Beachy, but a run does come in to score, and it's a 10-6 ball game.
And that's Ryan Park coming in to score. So the lead cut to 4, and the runner at second, that's Dylan Lottenville. He advanced over to third. So now Ange Bourgeois to the plate with 2 away. And a runner in scoring position, opportunity to keep this rally going for the Xenia Scouts, now trailing by just 4.
And now a bunt laid down by Ange Bourgeois. Bourgeois is out at first base. A little 2-out squeeze play there from the Scouts. Lottenville took off before the bunt was even laid down, and Bourgeois just kind of tilts his head back. He thought he had it. He thought he caught the defense off guard. But the Joes just get Bourgeois on the bunt. 3 runs here in the top of the 5th for the Xenia Scouts. It's a 10-6 Hamilton Joes lead. We'll be right back for the bottom half of the inning on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
He's correct. Give him a round of applause.
Hey, folks. Well, we are about to head back here for the bottom of the 5th inning. The Scouts rallying back in this one. The score now 10-6 in favor of the Hamilton Joes. But we just wanted to remind you that if you love the Scouts so much, then we got some ways for you to love them even more. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at Xenia Scouts. You can like us on Facebook at Xenia Scouts. And we also got ourselves a little website going, www.xeniascouts.com. You can go there for all of your official Scouts information and update. And just one more friendly reminder, there's nothing me and Gabe love more than when you hit that big red subscribe button. When you hit that big red subscribe button, you will be keyed in to all the Scouts games here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Don or Jack Rains into pitch now, and we're going to send it right back to Gabe Genovesi for even more action. Gabe?
As my friend mentioned, Jack Rains into pitch for the Xenia Scouts here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Joes lead the Scouts 10-6 here at Foundation Field in Hamilton, Ohio. And the first pitch is a bunt laid down the third baseline. Rains fires over to first and gets the out. Riley Dent trying to lay down a bunt to lead off the inning. Excuse me, Trey Turner leading off the inning. Tried to lay down that butt and gets tossed out. That'll bring up C.J. Bush for the Joes. Bush, the righty. 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. And the first pitch to him is a ball just below the knees. 1 ball and no strikes. Jack Rains making his 3rd appearance of the year for the Xenia Scouts. He's pitched 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, and 3 earned runs. His off-speed pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to C.J. Bush. Bush, the big righty, takes a hack at a fastball off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. C.J. Bush, 6'1", 220 pounds, will play at Murray State for his redshirt sophomore year. He did not play last year for the Racers. Now the 1-2, a fastball misses off the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bush.
Close pitch there by Jack Rains, who we saw work very impressively, over 70 pitches in relief. That came back on Sunday against the Copperheads.
The 2-2 pitch, lined to left field, and that ball will one-hop the fence. C.J. Bush is going to have a stand-up double as Dylan Lottenville throws it in from left field. But that ball was smoked out the warning track.
And no question, Gabe, C.J. Bush is a big guy, and that is the fear you have there, and he absolutely ripped one off the bat. The only question was that going to be a double? Or is that going to, clear the yard? Luckily for the Scouts, he could not make it past that, probably about 340 to that right center, or left center, I should say, spot where he hit it. But he stands with a double, and the Joes with a runner in scoring position and 1 out here.
C.J. Bush's 2nd double of the year, and that'll bring up Frank Dixon. Dixon swings ahead of an off-speed pitch from Rains. No balls and 1 strike to Frank Dixon. And just talking to some of these Xenia Scouts players before the game, they said out there in the outfield, it feels deeper than 330. The walls say 330 as Rains drops an off-speed pitch in there for strike 2. I believe that's a curveball from Jack Rains.
I think that looked like a curveball. Kind of hard to tell from the roof, but it was pretty. And now he's ahead in the count, 0-2 here.
C.J. Bush on second base after the double. The 0-2 pitch, line toward the shortstop, Beachy. He fields it on a hop. He'll go to third with it, and Roddy tags out Bush at third base.
Heads up play there by the shortstop, Ben Beachy. He took that on about a gravy hop right in front of him. Just quick toss over to Roddy. He saw that C.J. Bush, a lot of power, not so much speed. Gets the ball there, and good thing Joey Roddy, awake, alert, ready for that ball, lays down the tag, and they got Bush like a sitting duck over at third. So now instead of a runner at third and 2 outs, it's a runner at first and 2 outs. Let me tell you, that's a big difference there. Great job defensively for the Scouts, who still have 0 errors so far today. That is compared to 6 on the part of the Hamilton Joes.
So the heads-up play from Beachy gives the Scouts their second out of the inning. They're 1 out away from getting out of the 5th. And now Ryan McClellan, the batter, he fouls off the first pitch from Rains, 0-1. McClellan today 0 for 2, but he reached on a hit-by pitch in the 4th and came around to score. Rains, the lefty, takes a look at first and deals. He misses just off the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Tough call there, and that was the ball that Jorge Lozano really couldn't get back in the first inning that had him so frustrated.
The 1-1 popped high in the air. The question is, will it stay in play? And it will not. It will land right beside the Hamilton Joes dugout. One ball and 2 strikes to Ryan McClellan. 10-4 is the Hamilton Joe lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Excuse me, 10-6. I apologize. 10-6 is the Hamilton Joe lead over your Scouts. Now the pitch. A swing and a miss, strike 3. Jack Rains gets his first strikeout of the day. And we're going to head to the top of the 6th inning. Joe's 10, Scouts 6. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. We head to the top of the 6th inning at Foundation Field in Hamilton, Ohio. The Hamilton Joes lead the Xenia Scouts 10-6 here in game number 5 of the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League season. The Scouts come into this one 1-3. The Joes also 1-3 on the young year. These two teams met in the playoffs last year. The Joes winning the 3-game series in that 3rd game over the Scouts.
Took extra innings to settle that one. Now here's an interesting one for you, Gabe. The Copperheads and the Locos started at the same time that we did, 7:05 Eastern Standard Time. They are already done. The Locos took that one 6-0.
Wow, talk about a quick game.
Yeah, that is just 2 hours and 10 minutes from beginning to end in Lima.
Now the first pitch to Caden Owens, the batter for the Scouts, is low and away, 1-0. Caden Owens tonight 0 for 3, excuse me. The fly out to shallow left in the first, the fly out to right in the 3rd, and a ground out to the second baseman, Jake Murray. His last time up in the 4th. Owens trying to snap out of a little slump. He's now 3 for 18 on the year as he takes a strike on the outside edge. 2 balls and 1 strike to Caden Owens. The 2-1 pitch. Owens sends a chopper down the first baseline foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Owens' first at-bat ever with the Xenia Scouts ripped a double down the right field line. That was in the bottom of the 9th in the season opener, and now he's going to rope one toward right field. This time, the right fielder McClellan comes on and makes the grab, and Caden Owens just shakes his head. He can't catch a break here tonight. 1 down here in the 6th.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He simply cannot catch a break and just hitting balls hard, but unfortunately, when Caden Owens comes to the plate, the Joes decide to be as athletic as possible today, and now 1 away here in the top of the 6th.
Chris Ackerman steps to the plate. He's reached base all 3 times for the Scouts. Now he lines one to left field, but right at Trey Turner. And that seems to be the story of the night thus far for the Scouts.
Yeah, I mean, it just, just hitting the ball hard, but at someone. Can't get those to fall in, unfortunately. And 2 very hard hit outs, and looks like they might be making a call, possibly a call to the bullpen, maybe just a meeting at the mound. And indeed, a call to the bullpen.
We will find out who the new pitcher is as the Joes make a pitching change with 2 down here in the top of the 6th. We're going to take a short break here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here in the top of the 6th, 2 down for the Scouts here in the 6th inning. The Joes lead the Xenia Scouts 10-6 as the pitching change was made, and the first pitch to Kyle Casserly is a strike on the outside corner from Frank Dixon. Dixon, a lefty, stands at 6 foot tall, 170 pounds, from Arizona State. And now a curveball to Casserly. Cass goes around, no balls and 2 strikes. Dixon did not play this past year with the Sun Devils. Now the 0-2. Casserly breaks his bat, a chopper towards second base, and Cass is thrown out to end the 6th inning. A 4-3 put out, nothing doing for the Scouts in the top half of the 6th. The Joes take a 10-6 lead to the bottom half of the inning. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the bottom of the 6th inning here at Foundation Field in Hamilton, Ohio. Gabe Genovesi here with you alongside my partner Andrew Alix on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. 10-6 is the Hamilton Joes lead over Xenia as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. 11 hits for the Joes tonight, only 4 for the Scouts. The first pitch from Jack Rains to Mason Deanna is a ball low and inside, 1-0. 9 of the 10 runs for the Joes came back in the first inning, as starter Jorge Lozano gave up 7 hits and 9 runs in a third of an inning. As Rains throws an off-speed pitch in there for strike 2. Mason Deanna tonight, 1 for 2 and also hit by a pitch. An infield single in the 4th inning for Deanna. Jack Rains making his 3rd relief appearance for the Scouts this year. He's given up 3 earned runs in 6 innings. And now he's going to hit Mason Deanna on the foot. Kind of a delayed reaction from Deanna, but then he is hobbling pretty good down the first base line. And the Joes have their leadoff runner on.
I believe him. I'll believe him.
And that'll bring up Jake Murray, the lefty for the Joes. 2 for 3 with a couple RBI singles tonight for Murray. A good night for Jake Murray. The junior from Cincinnati University, Claremont, takes an off-speed pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Murray coming into tonight was only 2 for 12. Now make it 4 for 15 on the year. Rains takes the sign, looks over to Deanna at first. Now the 0-1 pitch. Chopped foul to the Xenia Scouts dugout. No balls and 2 strikes. As pitching coach Corey Coobs will come out and field that ball. Coobs in his 2nd season as a coach for the Xenia Scouts. His first as a pitching coach, however.
Last year, just considered a general assistant coach. A little bit different of a staff last year. Bubba Cates still at the helm. The general managing role split between Dave Naw and Taylor Hargrove. Hargrove also serving as an assistant coach as well. No one slated as the pitching coach that year, and then Naw also in the dugout as well this year. The addition of Michael Ross Yoder to the staff. He is an assistant coach, probably more of a bench coach role, as well as working at first base.
Now the 0-2, a swing and a miss from Jake Murray. Jack Rains gets his 2nd strikeout of the night, and there's 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th.
Good job there by Jack Rains on 0-2. It just gets Jake Murray to go fishing low and away. So 1 on, 1 out here, and Luke Torino, who is one of the few Hamilton Joes hitless on the night, Gabe.
Torino steps in, as you mentioned, 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. It was a bases-loaded walk, however, so he does get credit for the RBI. Rains will throw over to first. Casserly won't even apply a tag, as Rains kind of just lobbed it over there. And just going through this,
McClellan doesn't have a hit, maybe?
McClellan and Torino were the only Hamilton Joes without a hit. Rains' pitch catches the outside edge, 0-1 to Luke Torino. Torino from Toronto, Canada. He was named to Team Toronto for the Canada Cup in 2015. And if you're wondering what the Canada Cup is, it's simply just a Canada-wide baseball tournament.
Curveball gets away from Rains there. Looks like it clips the Canadian Luke Torino, and the 2nd hit by pitch of the inning. Yeah, but interesting how Canadians can end up here in Ohio. You know, surprised that they didn't look to go, or he didn't look to go to the St. Clair Green Giants. The international Great Lakes. Bring your passports, folks.
Ryan Zeal steps to the plate for the Joes. The first pitch from Rains is fouled back straight behind home plate, 0-1. Zeal's 2 for 3 today, an RBI single in the first inning, an infield single in the fourth. He flew out to center field in the third. Ryan Zeals had one of 2 hits last night for the Joes against the Grand Lake Mariners. And now he grounds one towards Rains, past his glove. Bourgeois fields and tags the runner, throws to first, is wide, and I think that hit the runner's heels. The ground ball to Bourgeois at second base. He fielded it, tagged the runner, Luke Torino, fired over to first, and Casserly didn't catch that ball. The throw was wide, and I believe it hit Ryan Zeals on the leg to prevent that ball from going all the way to the wall.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. That from just from the looks of it, yeah, that's what happened.
So Zeals reaches on a fielder's choice. The runner's on the corners now for the Joes with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. And the leadoff batter, Riley Dent, steps to the plate. This is a big out for Jack Rains. The Scouts down 10-6 to the Joes here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Every run feeling very crucial now.
Yeah, it's
for the Scouts.
I don't feel like, it's tough to explain things that seem obvious, but when you go down in that 9-0 hole, it just feels like you're in a glass house. Throw over to third, not in time. So Zeals stole the base. Chris Ackerman not feeling like he could get Zeals over at second with a big enough jump, acknowledging the chances of a double steal attempt. Just tries to throw over to third, see if they could get the lead runner, Deanna, off the bag, but to no avail.
So Zeal steals second base. Runners on second and third with 2 down here for the Joes. And now a ball fouled way out of play down the third baseline. No balls and 2 strikes to Riley Dent. Dent 1 for 1 tonight with a single in the first. He walked in the first as well, as he came up twice in the first inning, and he walked in the third. He came around to score twice in that first inning, a 9-run first inning for the Hamilton Joes. The 0-2 pitch from Rains. He checked his swing, and he did not go.
Corey Coos yelling from the dugout. He is not happy about that one, Gabe.
And Coob's very angry as the home plate umpire now going to chat with him.
Just staring him down.
Yep.
Coos is not afraid of confrontation. I'll tell you that. I've lived with him for last summer and now this summer. He is a passionate guy.
So Dent stays alive. Second and third, 2 down. The 1-2 pitch from Rains. A slider misses off the outside part of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 10-6, the Hamilton lead over the Xenia Scouts. Rains, who came on in relief for the Scouts in the 5th, trying to get out of a jam. The 2-2 pitch fouled off out of play behind the plate, and we'll do 2-2 all over again.
And that one hit a car, and actually the family of the car that it hit standing right at the car, so that's got to be a tough one to watch happen. But you gotta pick your parking spots here, folks.
That's an unlucky
Ever
break.
heard the song Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins? That is what that parking spot is in.
The 2-2 pitch from Rains. A line drive, but foul down the third baseline, and will stay at 2-2. Riley Dent, 2 for 12 coming into tonight. Make that 3 for 13 as he's 1 for 1 with a couple of walks tonight. Runners on second and third for the Joes. The 2-2 pitch from Rains. A fastball just off the outside corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And again, I apologize, we don't know his name, but the home plate umpire is not giving that outside corner at all tonight.
I mean, at least he's been consistent with it. You got to give him credit for being consistent with it. He didn't give it in the first inning, and here in the bottom of the 6th, same deal.
The 3-2 pitch from Rains. Grounded right back to him. Rains runs over, flips it over to Casserly at first. And Jack Rains works out of a jam here in the 6th. We'll head to the top of the 7th. The Hamilton Joes leading the Scouts 10-6 here at Foundation Field. Andrew Alex will have the play-by-play the rest of the way for you here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Back here for the top of the 7th inning, Andrew Alex alongside Gabe Genovesi at Foundation Field in Hamilton in the state of Ohio in the country of the United States of America. The Scouts trailing by a score of 10-6. They let up 9 runs in the bottom of the 1st, and it has been chip away for this Xenia team. They've scored 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 5th. The score now 10-6 Hamilton. Hamilton tacked one on in the bottom of the 5th as well. Joey Roddy to lead things. We are back here. Sorry, folks. Andrew Alex alongside Gabe Genovesi. We are in the top of the 7th inning. The Scouts, they trailed this one by a score of 10-6, but playing comeback as they went behind 9-0 in this game in the bottom of the 1st. Joey Roddy at the plate. A ball and a strike the count. Apologies, our internet cut for a minute there. Roddy awaits the 1-1. And that one way on the inside. Count moves 2-1.
And I will say this about Dixon. One, he's a lefty, so the Scouts have not seen too many of those thus far this year. I believe this is the 2nd lefty we faced. 2, he's really got some more velocity more than these other 2 pitchers had. So this is kind of a different style of pitcher than the Scouts have seen this season.
Dixon missing yet again to the right-handed or the right side, hitting Joe Roddy. 3-1 the count now. Roddy awaits. So here's the pitch. And Joey hits that one in the gap. Third baseman moves over, throws over to first. He is off the bag. The tag, he will get Joey Roddy on the baseline. The throw from the third baseman, Torino, pulled the first baseman, C.J. Bush, off the bag. But Bush, with the sweeping motion on the catch, gets Joey Roddy as he's running down the baseline. Lays down the tag. That, my friends, is out number 1. So 1 away here at the top of the 7th. It's going to bring Ryan Park to the plate. Park, he has reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate and scored all 3 times he's been on base. A couple of walks and a single. First pitch to Ryan Park. Inside ball number 1. Park batting from the right side against the left-handed throwing Dixon. Park now 5 for 9 on the season. 3 walks. That pitch
Just inside, just inside.
Just on the inside, so 2-0 the count now. Parker waits. And Ryan hits that one high in the air to left field. The left fielder, Trey Turner, chasing back. He'll make the grab on the run at the warning track. Another hard hit ball from a Xenia Scouts batter is taken away by a speedy outfielder for the Hamilton Jones. And just like that, 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning.
The left fielder, number 23, Dylan Lottenville.
And once again, that just seems to be the theme tonight for the Scouts, the theme of the season for the Xenia Scouts. That was the hardest hit ball Ryan Parks hit all year.
Oh, easily.
He has 5 hits, and that's the hardest hit ball he's hit all year, and that one gets caught at the warning track.
Lottenville to the plate. First pitch way inside. Ball number 1. Dylan, he is 0 for 3 on the day. 0 for 3 or 0 for 2. Regardless, he swings at 1-0. Evens the count of the ball and a strike here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Xenia still trailing by a score of 10-6. The Joes put up 9 runs in the bottom of the first, but Xenia has come crawling back with 1 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fifth. 1-1 pitch way on the outside. Moves the counts 2 balls and a strike.
And actually, Lottenville was 0 for 1 today. He reached on a walk and an error. So that's why you thought it was 0 for 2. The ground ball, he reached on an error in the 5th.
2-1 pitch, and Lottenville waves and misses at a ball low and away. Evens up the count 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away here. The night has fallen in Hamilton, Ohio. And here's the 2-2 pitch. And Lottenville waves and misses. Strike number 3. And the Scouts go down in order in the top of the 7th. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. The Scouts still trail 10-6 as we head into the bottom of the 7th. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Worship or attend school in Butler County.
Back here for the bottom of the 7th, and Gabe Genovesi is going to head to the out-of-town scoreboard now. Gabe, what are we looking at elsewhere in the Great Lakes League?
The Lake Erie Monarchs beat the Grand River Loggers 11-7. That's your final there. The Grand Lake Mariners defeat the Lorain County Ironmen 5-2. Of course, you know our score here, 10-6 Hamilton over Xenia here in the top of the 7th. The Richmond Jazz up on the Cincinnati Steam 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th. The St. Clair Green Giants up in the Irish Hills Leprechauns in the top of the 8th, 9-5. And as you mentioned, that really quick game between the Lima Locos and the Southern Ohio Copperheads. The Locos defeat the Copperheads 6-0.
First pitch from Jack Raines. That one, breaking ball, finds the zone. A call, strike 1. Like we said, we're on the bottom of the 7th here. The Scouts trailing by a score of 10-6. The batter, Trey Turner. Turner from Arizona State University. He is 2 for 4 on the day. He's singled twice in the first. Since then, he has struck out swinging and grounded out back to the pitcher. 0-1. The lefty Raines delivers a curveball in there for a called strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Turner bats from the right side against the left-handed throwing Jack Raines. Raines delivers the 0-2 pitch, and that one's going to be way on the outside. Moves the count 1-2. Andrew Alix and Gabe Genovesi here on the roof of the press box of Foundation Field in beautiful Hamilton, Ohio. Jack Looks to the catcher, Chris Ackerman. Here's the 1-2. And that one high and outside, going to even things up 2-2. It'll be Turner, C.J. Bush, and Frank Dixon due up here in the home half of the 7th. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. And that one fouled. Third base side on the ground, staying alive in this count is Trey Turner. Turner, of course, Arizona State. Some pretty big names coming out of Arizona State, most notably baseball's home run king, Barry Bonds. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. He got him with the changeup. Jack Raines sits down Trey Turner for out number 1. Strikeout swinging in your books. That is, if I'm not mistaken, the 3rd of the day for Jack Raines.
I believe so.
So now 1 away here in the 7th. And C.J. Bush to the plate. Bush, he's had himself a little bit of a day. 2 for 3. A single, a double. Also drew a walk and came around to score back in the 1st. The double coming off of Jack Raines in the only time that these guys have faced off so far this game. First pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1. C.J. Bush from Murray State. That's the Racers. Oh, 1. Breaking ball in there for a called strike 2. So Jack Raines making quick work to get ahead in this count 0-2 here with 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. Scouts trailing by 4 runs. They had 1 point trailed by 9. Oh, 2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. He got him again. Jack Raines sits down C.J. Bush. And a couple of strikeouts here in the bottom of the 7th.
For Frank Dixon.
And the reliever, Jack Raines from Baldwin Wallace, shows that in his 3rd inning of work, he is not slowing down by any means. And now Frank Dixon to the plate. Dixon actually is currently the pitcher as well. Started this game as the designated hitter, but this Arizona State Sun Devil apparently can go 2 ways. He grounds first pitch foul, first baseline. Nothing in 1 count. No balls, 1 strike. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Nobody on base. The Scouts trailing this one by a score of 10-6. Dixon batting from the left side. Awaits 0-1. And that one is hit high in the air, foul territory. Third baseman Joey Roddy tracks over, makes the grab for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts for Jack Raines. Sits down. The Joes in order in the home half of the 7th. We have plate 7 at Foundation Field in Hamilton. The Scouts lead this one by a score of 10-6. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Again, join us back here tomorrow for a 7.
To the top of the 8th inning we go. Andrew Alix and Gabe Genovesi with you at Foundation Field in Hamilton. And we got some disco music on here as we go into the top of the 8th inning, and the Scouts Down by 4, but still very much alive in this ball game. It's the top of the 8th, and it's going to be Francisco Andina, Ben Beachy, and Ange Bourgeois due up at the minimum here. The pitcher still Dixon, the old southpaw from Arizona State University. So Andina steps in, first pitch. That one taken.
I believe he called it a strike.
Yeah, it looks like they called him a strike. More of a silent call there, but nothing in one goes the count, we think. And the scoreboard reflects accordingly. Frank on the day. Couple of walks so far. And that one, curveball, really gets away from the pitcher, Dixon. And if Andina didn't duck there, that one would have plunked him in the back, if not maybe the head. So a good decision there to duck. But all that's going to do is even up the count, a ball and a strike. Scoring summary for you. The Joes scored 9 in the first. Since then, just 1. The Scouts unable to score in the first, but 1 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fifth. That made this a 10-6 ball game. 2-1 the count now to Francisco Andina. He waits. Here's the 2-1. That one catches the outside part of the plate, evens it up 2-2.
And Frank Dixon, someone who is very, very highly rated from Arizona. He's the number 2 left-handed pitcher in his class, number 14 overall player in Arizona going into Arizona State. He's not going to miss his spot much.
2-2, and that one's hit on the ground towards the second baseman, Murray. Chasing over as Murray throw over to first will be just in time to get the speedy Francisco Andina over at first. Mark it down as a 4-3. And that's 1 away and back to the top of the Xenia order with Ben Beachy. Beachy, he is 2 for 3 on the day. Singled in the first, singled in the second, walked in the third, and then hit into a 6-4-3 double play that actually ended up bringing home a run. That was in the 5th inning. Beachy shows bunt but pulls back and takes that one way off the plate. Ball number 1. It's Beachy at the plate. Bourgeois due up next. Caden Owens awaits if the inning can continue.
And if you go back to that 5th inning when Beachy grounded into that double play, yes, it brought in a run, but bases loaded, no outs in the 5th for the Scouts. That might have been the inning to do a little more damage.
I'm sure he would take that one back if he could. Beachy watches on the outside. They called that one a strike. So 1-2 moves the count. Strike zone seemed to expand a tad bit there.
He gave him the outside corner that time.
1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out here. Beachy awaits. Dixon sets and delivers, and that one way outside. Going to even up the count, 2-2.
Dixon working very quickly here in this inning, wasting no time getting back up on the rubber.
2 pitch now. And that one low and inside, way inside. Beachy having to do a little dance there, get himself out of the way. The count goes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Ben Beachy, 7 for 17 on the season. He grounds that one foul, third base line. Third base coach Bubba Cates puts up one hand as if he was going to try to jump and make the grab. He can't do it, but we're going to stay at 3-2.
I was just about to say a great effort there from Bubba Cates in the third base coach's box.
I got to start writing down the things that Bubba says to me throughout the day so I can regurgitate them on these broadcasts, because I've learned more wisdom from that man than I'll probably ever learn in my life. 3-2, Beachy fouls off again. We're going to stay at 3-2 there. Beachy might have swung at ball 4 there, but better safe than sorry in this situation, especially with a hard-throwing lefty like Dixon at the plate.
Got to protect the corners. I don't mind I think he was just trying to foul that one off anyways.
I mean, you don't want to leave anything close. You don't want to go down looking, especially here in the 8th inning when you're just trying to produce runs. So Beachy awaits. Here's 3-2 again. And that one low, ball 4. So Ben Beachy is aboard with a 1-out walk, and the Scouts have a man on here in the top half of the 8th inning. And Ange Bourgeois going to come to the plate. Bourgeois.
The second baseman
He could
on
look.
nine,
He's looking for hit number 1
Bourgeois.
today, and this would be a big spot to do it. Ange, he walked back in the first, since then, a fly out and a couple of ground outs. So Bourgeois bats from the left side against the left-handed pitcher here. First pitch, that one catches the outside corner. Strike number 1.
And despite the lefty-on-lefty matchup, I will say Dixon throws the ball low in the zone. Bourgeois, one of those lefties that likes the ball low. We'll see if he can yank one into the outfield.
Bourgeois hacks it 0-1, fouls it into the screen on the third base side. So he's quickly behind in this count, 0-2. Bourgeois, the native of Salt Lake City, Utah. A fan of the Utah Jazz as opposed to the Richmond Jazz. The Richmond Jazz leading the Cincinnati Steam tonight. 0-2. And that one in the dirt, way on the outside. Good job by the catcher, Mason Deanna, to move over and get in front of that ball, prevent the runner over at first, Ben Beachy, from advancing. The count now 1 ball, 2 strike. Caden Owens waits on deck. 1-2 the count now. Here's the pitch. And that one way on the outside again. And Mason Deanna has his work cut out for him behind the plate. 2 pitches in a row. He has had to make the shuffle step block to prevent the pass ball. So the count even now 2-2. Beachy leads over at first. He has some speed on the base path. 2-2 pitch, and that one is hit up the middle over towards second. The flip to second for 1, the throw to first for 2 in time. A 4-6-3 double play ends the Scouts' hopes here in the top of the 8th. No runs on no hits and nobody left aboard for Xenia. We have reached the middle of the 8th inning. The Joes lead the Scouts by a score of 10-6. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Boyd Chiropractic Health Center. Rupke.
To the bottom of the 8th we go, and Titus Collins into pitch. Collins with 1 appearance so far this year. A scoreless inning back against the Richmond Jazz on Tuesday. First pitch, and that one's hit high in the air towards left field. Coming in is the left fielder. He's called off by the shortstop, Ben Beachy, who makes the grab in, I don't even want to say shallow left, because he chased pretty into like the middle of left field, but he makes the grab, and that's out number 1. So mark that down as an F6 in your books. And now 1 away for Titus Collins with Mason Deanna coming to the plate. Deanna, he is 1 for 2 because he's been hit by a pitch twice today. So if you're Mason Deanna, you're going to wake up with some decent-sized bruises.
Jack Rain's final line, 3 innings pitched, 1 hit given up, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He did hit 2 batters, but a very efficient night for Jack Rains.
First pitch to Mason Deanna, taken on the outside, and exactly as you said, Jack Rains, a pretty solid game today on the mound. 0-1, and that one is looped into left field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. So Mason Deanna with his second hit of the day. 1 on and 1 out. It's going to bring Jake Murray to the plate. Murray, he is 2 for 4 on the day.
Jake Murray.
Some action in the Scouts bullpen as well. If I'm not mistaken, is that Landon Williams?
Landon Williams throwing in the bullpen.
So Landon Williams, the guy from New Mexico with one of the nastiest sliders you'll ever see at this level. First pitch, though, and that one's going to get past Chris Ackerman and roll to the backstop. And Ackerman definitely looks like he got crossed up there as he runs out to the mound to have a quick word with Titus Collins.
Miscommunication there, definitely.
So Deanna advances over to second, so the Joes with a runner in scoring position and 1 out now. It's Jake Murray at the plate. Like we said, Murray singles in the first, came around to score, also singled in the 4th. That drove in the only run that the Hamilton Joes have scored outside of that 9-run first inning. Here's the pitch, and that one swung on and missed. Good change up there from Titus Collins, evens up the count of ball and a strike. Bottom of the 8th here, 10-6 the score in favor of the Hamilton Joes. A big lead over at second for Mason Deanna. Titus Collins going to step off and look him over, trying to keep the runner Deanna honest.
Collins had a good outing his last time out against the Jazz as well. He pitched an inning, no hits given up, 1 walk, no runs though either.
So 1 ball, 2 strike now as Titus Collins finds the upper outside part of the zone there. In there for a called strike, so he's ahead in this count 1-2. Collins looks to the catcher, Chris Ackerman. He sets and delivers. And that one grounded over towards the second baseman, Bourgeois. Bourgeois scoops it up on 1 hop, throws over to first in time. Out number 2, mark it down as a 4-3, but the lead runner, Mason Deanna, advancing another 90 feet. And he now stands at third base. And with Luke Torino at the plate, one of 2 Hamilton Joes that were held hitless today. A tough task here, or an important task, I might say, for Titus Collins to try to keep that runner at third from coming home to score and keeping this game, this deficit, at 4 runs here. 1-0. Foul ball, first baseline chopped over. Evens up the count 1-1. So a ball on a strike now. To Luke Torino. Third baseman from Cincinnati, 1-1, and that one is hit high in the air and deep to right, going back the right fielder. He's going to dive for it. He will not make the grab. Deanna comes in from third to score, and standing at second with a double is Luke Torino, and he really got a hold of that one. Just bangs that one into deep right field. And Caden Owens just trying to make the athletic catch, but unable to come home with it.
Got twisted around a little bit, did Owens there. He was running and looking over his left shoulder. That ball ended up landing over his right shoulder and bounced on the warning track, and the Joes added their lead.
So make it 11-6 now. Runner at second, still 2 outs. First pitch, and that one's grounded right over to Kyle Casserly. He's going to field it and take it himself. Step on first for out number 3. But 1 run on a couple of hits. 1 man left aboard for the Hamilton Joes in the bottom of the 8th. We're going to stick with you now as we head into the 9th, and the Scouts are going to need 5 runs in order to extend this ball game. 6 to take the lead. And I will keep you all updated here after I write down 3 unassisted in my book. Just a reminder, folks, that this broadcast brought to you by Snap Fitness. Baseball is a game that requires a brutal combination of strength and conditioning. And when the Xenia Scouts need to work out, there is only one place that they go. Snap Fitness, 24-hour fitness location in Xenia, now located over by Kroger behind Chipotle, which is probably the only place that the Scouts go more than Snap Fitness. But Snap Fitness, the official fitness location of the Xenia Scouts. So we are heading into the top of the 9th, 11-6 the score in favor of the Hamilton Joes. It'll be Caden Owens, Chris Ackerman, and Kyle Casserly at the minimum here. And it looks like we're still going with
Frank Dixon still on the mound
for inning numero trace of work. For those of you who are listening to our Spanish language version of the broadcast, the 9th inning es aquí. So just to head back to the out-of-town scoreboard here, bottom of the 9th, it's Richmond Jazz 5, Cincinnati Steam 3. Which just because the Cincinnati Steam the Richmond Jazz don't know how to operate point streak, there would be no bottom of the 9th in a game that the Richmond Jazz are at home and leading by 5, or leading. So let's say the Richmond Jazz beat the Cincinnati Steam. St. Clair Green Giants leading Irish Hills Leprechauns 10-7. Remember the Lima Locos beat the Copperheads by a score of 6-0. Grand Lake beat Lorain County. Lake Erie beat Grand River. And it looks like we are the only game still in action in the Great Lakes Collegiate Baseball League. The score is Hamilton Joes 11, Xenia Scouts 6. So Caden Owens to the plate. Chris Ackerman and Kyle Casserly await. First pitch to Owens. Upstairs, ball number 1. Owens, he has had a tough day. Hit some balls really, really hard. And one takeaway we can get is he is now ahead in this count 2-0 is there are some athletes in the outfield for this Hamilton Joes team. Trey Turner, Riley Dent, both very, very athletic guys, and Ryan McClellan as well, with a couple of 1 on the run and 1 diving, have taken away what could have been a 4-for-4 day from Owens. Owens wants his 2-0 on the outside, 3-0, so quickly ahead in this count is Caden Owens. He bats from the left side here against the lefty.
Isn't that crazy? The way he's hit balls tonight, he could be 3-for-4. Instead, he's
really good. And a 4-pitch walk issued to Caden Owens. So the Scouts with the leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 9th inning. And Caden Owens, and he's got some speed on the base pass. He's already snagged a bag so far this year. He's 1 for 1. And now Chris Ackerman to the plate. Ackerman walked twice, reached on an error. Also flying out on a very hard hit ball to left field. His last time up, that came back in the 6th. So Ackerman bats from the right side against the southpaw Dixon. Big lead for Caden Owens over at first. First pitch up and away. Ball number 1. Now 5 straight balls thrown by this pitcher Dixon. Ackerman, the catcher from Hillsdale College in Hillsdale, Michigan. Division II program that has brought the Scouts some of their legendary figures. Will Cruz, Ryan O'Hearn, Shane Armstrong, Lucas Hamelink, among others. 1-0 pitch, and that one taken on the inside. So Chris Ackerman now ahead in this count 2-0, and 6 straight balls thrown by Dixon. The Scouts would be hard-pressed to take a patient approach here at the plate. 2-0 pitch, and that one's fouled straight back, actually off the mask of the catcher, Mason Deanna. Ricochets off the mask and into the backstop. Count moves 2-1.
And there's that 2-0 fastball right over the heart of the plate. Ackerman liked it. He got his pitch. Don't mind the swing at all. He found it straight back, just missed it.
2 balls and a strike. The runner at first, Caden Owens. Dixon looks to Owens over at first and delivers. That one comes low and in. So Ackerman now ahead in this count 3-1 with Kyle Casserly awaiting on deck. The Scouts need 5 to keep this one going. Owens dancing over at first. Here's the pitch, and that one low and in, ball 4. So the Scouts have 2 on and nobody out. And the hard-hitting Kyle Casserly coming to the plate now. Casserly, a tough day for him as well. 0 for 3, did draw a walk, ended up getting caught stealing. That ended things for the Scouts back in the 4th. It looks like there's going to be a meeting at the mound here as some action brewing in the Hamilton Joe bullpen. Dixon, who is now in his 3rd inning of work. Looks like he is losing command on that fastball. Dixon threw scoreless frames in both the 7th and the 8th for the Hamilton Joes. And, thus far had clearly been the most successful pitcher that the Joes had thrown out there.
Yeah, he'd thrown 2 in a 3rd inning. He had only allowed 1 base runner, and that was on a walk. Had Dixon. Now he walks the first 2 batters of the 9th. Very uncharacteristic of him tonight, at least. Obviously, this is the first time we have seen Frank Dixon. I mentioned how he was highly recruited out of high school. He did not pitch for Arizona State this past year, so probably his first action since the fall as well.
And Arizona State, might as well have saved some of their highly talented freshmen. They had a tough season, a losing record for the Sun Devils out there in the Pac-12, a rarity for a program that has been traditionally a powerhouse out there on the West Coast. But Kyle Casserly to the plate now. It's Caden Owens at second, Chris Ackerman at first. First pitch, that one taken off the plate, ball number 1.
And Cass was showing bunt there at the end. And now the 3rd baseman's going to come in and play just in front of the bag. Torino.
1-0. And Casserly hits that one foul. A high chopper first base line is going to even up the count 1-1. 2 on, nobody out. It's runners at first and second. Scouts trailing this one by a score of 11-6. We are at Foundation Field in Hamilton, Ohio. Casserly bats from the left side against the left-handed throwing Dixon. Here's the 1-1. That one just catching the outside part of the plate, so a called strike 2 and seemingly a tad bit inconsistent with what we've seen so far. Is that called strike, but ball and 2 strikes the count now. Here's the pitch, and that one low, going to even up the count 2-2.
That last strike was almost the exact same spot Jack Rain's pitch was in that Corey Coobs was very upset about earlier. This one's called a strike. Now 2-2 to Cass.
Pitch, and Cass hits that one on the ground over towards short. They go to second for 1, the throw to first for 2 in time. A 4-6-3 double play, and the Scouts now down to their final out in this contest. And Joey Roddy comes to the plate with the task to extend this game at the bare minimum. Caden Owens advanced over to third on that double play. So Roddy, he is 1 for 3 on the day. A fly out, a hit, a ground out, also reached on an error. Scored 2 runs. First pitch changeup, swung on and missed, strike 1. Roddy, the 3rd baseman from The Ohio State University. Two away now. The 0-1 pitch. Roddy swinging and missing again. Quickly behind in this count, 0-2.
Both pitches that seemed good to Joey Roddy, obviously. Fastballs over the middle at the knees. He just misses.
Here comes 0-2. And Roddy swings and misses, and that is going to be all she wrote in this one. Final score, the Hamilton Joes 11. The Xenia Scouts 6. The Scouts, their struggles continue. They fall to 1-4 on the season. The Hamilton Joes now move to 2-3. And what's your takeaway from this one, Gabe?
Final score from Hamilton.
Honestly, not what I expected at all out of the Xenia Scouts team tonight. I don't know what it is about one inning at the beginning of games. In 3 of these games, we've seen it be the 3rd inning for the Scouts. And now in this one tonight, excuse me, 2 of those games, we saw big innings in the bottom of the third. And now it's the first inning tonight. The Scouts give up 9 runs in the first inning. If you look at that scoreboard, take away the first inning, we win 6-2. I mean, that's been the story of the year, and you can't play comeback all year. You just can't do it. And in this league, not that I'm hitting a panic button yet, but we're 1-4. The Scouts fall to 1-4 tonight. And when it's a 42-game year, the start of the year can really determine your season sometimes. If you look back at some of the history of this league, some of the teams that make the playoffs, they get off to a hot start. They're 6-2, let's say. And then they go around 500, a couple games under 500 the rest of the year. But because they started hot, they're still a couple games over 500. They make the playoffs. You go the opposite way. You get a team that starts 2-6, 2-7, and then you play the rest of the year at 500 or above. You're still going to end up under 500. You miss the playoffs. So, again, not hitting the panic button yet. We're only 5 games in. But 1-4, not the start this team was looking for, and I'm sure that's what Bubba Cates is saying right there in the huddle, right by first base. This team is talented, and they've had balls hit really hard right at people all year in these first 5 games. Hopefully that can change tomorrow when we're back here.
And, it is a tough pill to swallow, Gabe, I must say, because, you remember that first inning, and trust me, I remember it. I was doing the play-by-play for it, where it just seemed like nothing could possibly go right for the Scouts. And like we said right after that inning, I said the character of this team is really going to be tested today. They're down in a 9-0 hole. Are they going to go out there? Are they going to fight? And they did. And for the last 2.5 hours, minus that first inning, the Scouts played the better game of baseball. But unfortunately, mental lapses, when you just have that one moment where you let it get out of hand, when you let it get away, it is so hard to come back, and it is so hard to play catch up, especially from a situation where you're down 9-0. So like you said, the Scouts team is talented. We saw what they could do out there, and quite frankly, they could have done even more. They stranded a lot of runners on.
Eight to be exact.
Exactly. If you just bring home half of those guys, then
whole different ball game.
A whole different ball game. But not ready to hit the panic button yet, because I like the talent I see out there. But in order, if they want to make a run for this, they're going to have to buckle down, and they're going to have to win some ball games going forward. And those ball games, whether they win them or lose them in the future, I can promise you guys one thing: me and Gabe will bring you all the action. We're going to be back here at Foundation Field in Hamilton tomorrow night at 7:05 Eastern Standard Time. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. We hope to have you join us. I am Andrew Alix. He is Gabe Genovesi. For us and the entire Xenia Scouts family, we thank you for joining us tonight. God bless.